over probably a year and a half ago, and essentially it was just like, hey, I'm a hitting coach. We have some friends in professional baseball or coaches that we've kind of worked alongside, and I'd love to just kind of learn more about what you guys are doing. He stopped in here last year when he was home for the holidays, and we showed him around a little bit, picked his brain. We had kind of done a pseudo interview with him on Zoom, but he hadn't known at the time. He gave us a presentation on his hitting philosophies, and they were all as good, if not better, than any hitting coach I've been around in my life. So it was really just trying to get him in the space, seeing if he was interested in working here. And we talked on the phone for over an hour, probably every week, and it just seemed like he was going to be a perfect fit. He started with us in July after his college season wrapped up last year. He was coaching college baseball for 5 years, and I'm sure he'll talk about that maybe. But he's been an absolute hit since day one. I no longer have to operate anything in the hitting cage because he's a whole lot better than me. And the progress that these guys have been making is obvious. So a lot of the things we talked about, like objective feedback, are things he believes in, he'll touch on, but he's been an awesome fit here, and really looking forward to letting him talk to you guys about his thoughts.
Yeah. How's it going, guys? Thank you guys for being here tonight, and thank you to Carson and to Logan as well for giving me this opportunity to be able to share some of these things with you guys. So tonight I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about hitting development, and more specifically I'm going to give a presentation called Function Over Form. You can play that video of Juan Soto hitting a bomb here real quick. Sweet. And then I can get the next slide too. Alright, so first slide, it's a little quote from Ted Williams. He thinks that, he shares this opinion with many other people, so that hitting a baseball is one of, if not the most difficult things to do in sports. It takes a very resilient athlete to be able to be good at the skill of hitting a baseball. But later on here, I'll kind of go more into detail on how you can succeed within the skill of hitting. So a little bit about myself. I played my college baseball at Colby Starter College. I was a 3-year starter at the catcher position, and studied sport management. Graduated in 2018. After I graduated from college, I went on to coach college baseball for a season at the University of Maine at Farmington. And then after that season, I made a pretty big jump to go coach at an NAI school in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. It's called McPherson College. But I'm really thankful I did do that. I was able to learn from some really smart coaches, able to coach some really talented players, and I learned a lot of new school baseball concepts that really hit home for me, and I started to figure some things out about how you can make baseball athletes better. And similar to what Carson and Logan talked about earlier, I also kind of started to figure out that college is almost too late of a time to be able to make some of those changes. When you get someone who's 13 to 14 years old, you can really make some big jumps to be able to put them in a position to be the best version of themselves. So hitting philosophy, I think within anything that any sort of philosophy that you create, you kind of want to look to the end goal and then kind of work backwards from there to be able to create that philosophy. So within hitting, the most important thing, obviously, you want to try to score more runs than the other team. And how do you do that? Pitching nowadays is getting so good that you're going to have to be able to create extra base hits. It's so difficult to be able to hit 3 or 4 singles in a row. And even doesn't matter who the pitcher is, it's going to be a lot more efficient to score runs if you're hitting doubles or better on a regular basis. So here I kind of talk about OPS over batting average. I think, within baseball nowadays, OPS is used so much more to be able to show what the value of a hitter is rather than batting average. OPS is going to be your on-base percentage plus your slugging percentage. On-base percentage is going to be your average, your base on balls, your hit by pitches, and then the easiest way to think about slugging percentage is the more doubles or better you hit, the higher your slugging percentage is going to be. So how do you create OPS? Well, one, you're going to have to move the bat fast. You're going to have to work on playing with the pitch, and then you're also going to have to be able to make good swing decisions to be able to get on base or hit for power, I guess. And it's funny, I didn't even talk to Carson and Logan about this, but you're going to have to build the engine before you can kind of fine-tune it, I believe. So kind of continued hitting philosophy. I think it's really important, especially for younger athletes who haven't quite developed yet, to be able to hit a moving object rather than a sitting object. Baseball is different from golf in the sense where you're going to be facing a moving pitch all the time. I think there are certain things you can do off the tee to be able to develop hitters, whether it's high tee, low tee, maybe shuffle swings or something like that. But if you look at your training economy, it's like kind of a pie chart. You're going to want the amount of swings you take off the tee to be a small part of that chart, I would say. And then I think game-like environments and being able to put hitters in a position where they have to make decisions at a fast rate and almost train at a game-like or even above game-like clip is going to make the spring so much easier. I've told a few of you guys this tonight even, but I think if your training environment is more difficult than the actual game, it's going to make the game easy. You can kind of get into a flow state easier, and you can also, it's going to be an easier environment to be able to go have success. So here are a couple of videos of actually guys training in here, hitting off a machine. And then someone doing self-toss. So say a younger athlete that's tossing the ball up to themselves and hitting an object that's moving, a little bit more of a time constraint there rather than just taking aimless swings off the tee. But you can go ahead and go to the next slide, Carson. So at this point, you guys have probably heard enough of me talk, but we're going to, Lance Berkman here talks about how, a mechanics-driven approach isn't going to be how you kind of develop an athlete to be the best version of themselves, and I'll let him take it from there.
Does it go into like making a good big league hitter beyond kind of chasing the holy grail of mechanics, which that would be, if I had a soapbox topic to get off my chest, it would be, you've got parents and a whole generation of kids that are conditioned to think, well, if I just learn the right hitting mechanics, then I'm going to be the next Babe Ruth. The mechanics are a significant part of being a good hitter, but it's a small part in comparison to what really makes a successful major league hitter. And so, you've got these kids and they want you to coach every swing. They make a bad swing and it's like, what did I do wrong? Dude, round ball, round bat. You just mishit it. Like take another couple of hundred swings.
If it's great, it's going to happen 74% of the time.
And you got parents that are like, oh, well, let me get my kid with this hitting instructor and the magic didn't happen with him, so I'm going to go to this one and the magic didn't happen with him. And you know what? The kid's just not good enough. I mean, at the end of the day, there is no magic holy grail of hitting mechanics. So that
takes me back to the era of parents getting their kids muscle biopsies to figure out what sport they should play.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's like
if you want to know if your kid should run track, put them on a line by all the other kindergartners, have them run, and whoever finishes first, that kid's got fast twitch.
Exactly, yeah.
Save yourself the lab.
For sure. We can save parents a lot of money. And just bring your kid by and I'll let you know, yep, or no, that kid, he can't do it. But
but most of them will fall somewhere in between.
Yeah, we're
joking, but
it's funny how the compete element of it has been totally lost in favor of if we could just get the right mechanics.
Yeah, so that kind of blends in with what Carson and Logan talked about earlier. With if you try to tinker with the engine too soon, it's going to create more problems than not. You're going to want to build that engine up, and then once you get it built to a certain point, then you can kind of fine tune it to be able to get it where it needs to be. But first, you need to build the engine. So here, we got a little clip of Chris Davis hitting, and this kind of plays to the function over form that I talked about out of the gate. As you see here, he kind of steps in the bucket to be able to then hit a home run in a major league game. Now that's something I know when I was playing, baby little league baseball, that was very frowned upon. But the thing is within the assessment stuff that Logan was talking about earlier, the way his hip anatomy works, he needs to be able to get his front hip in that place to then create space for his barrel to work behind the ball. Now I'm not encouraging kids to do this. All I'm saying is there's not one way to do it. There's a lot of different ways to be able to be a quality hitter, and I think that's important to recognize. So here we have a couple of tools that can help to create both plane and bat speed, like I talked about earlier. So we have an athlete here hitting a plyo ball, and it's basically a ball that has sand in it. So if you hit the bottom of the ball, it's going to spin a lot backwards. If you hit the top of the ball, it's going to spin a lot forwards. But if you hit it flush, then it's going to pancake and kind of fly out. So it's going to be an instant feedback on what your precision in your plane is. And then these weighted bats here, that's something we use a lot for bat speed. The point of bat speed is to be able to train at a high clip, so then you can work at an 80% clip, 80 to 85% clip in game as a hitter, and have nice, easy bat speed where you're still seeing the backs of the outfielders, and hopefully the ball flying over the fence. But that's it for me. I tagged a few of my social medias on here. I put my email on here, so if anyone out there wants this presentation, feel free to let me know. But thank you guys for listening, and thank you to Carson and Logan for allowing me to do this.